It's really about Mac right now and whether or not, is it possible Mac Jones has lost his job for good here?
I still am processing because their quarterback situation is so bad. I really don't know. I don't know. And usually you would hope that like backup quarterback, not every team has a guy where they're comfortable just like, yes, put him in the game. But the fact that your starting quarterback is playing backup caliber level football and you have no one to potentially replace him with, it makes it tough in these situations to know, are you going to keep with the guy who's struggling or potentially dig yourself an even deeper rock bottom by having Bailey Zappi start with a bunch of guys he doesn't have experience throwing to. And you'll remember I said even after the Cowboys game, like, this is a team that could get worse if the offensive line gets even more banged up, if you start losing receivers that Mac Jones actually has faith in, the product that you see could turn into like just disastrous, unwatchable football. And that's what we saw. The first half, almost every time he dropped back on a third down, the guy's getting sacked because his interior offensive line is just getting beat up on, which is especially discouraging considering that was the interior offensive line combo that seemed like the best that they've had so far. And they just they regressed weeks. And then on top of it, when Mac actually does have opportunities, like you said, he has turnover-worthy plays where he doesn't take advantage of 2 potential touchdowns. So bad, you had Bill O'Brien, the Teapot or whatever his nickname is, reaming him on the sideline, clearly saying, throw there. Why are you not throwing there? So he's missing opportunities. You had the Albert Breer story this week about how internally they're growing frustrated with him because there was a play where he checked to Mike Gesicki last week and didn't throw to him despite the fact he was wide open, instead decided to tuck the ball and run from a clean pocket. And I think how you put it was perfect, that he's just been put in such bad positions that, a lot of it is just him being in his head. But it's the NFL, man. You can't spend the entire season in your head. And it keeps bringing up the question of, I've been saying, well, Mac is still under a rookie contract. So if you go into the next season with him as your top quarterback, it's not the worst thing in the world because you're not paying him anything. And maybe you get somebody to push him as well, like a Jaden Daniels or somebody like that. At this point, there's not a lot to go on from Mac that makes you happy, because for all the positives, there's just as many, if not more, negatives. And I've been trying to find reasons to push the guy because I like him as a person. I think he's a good fit in the locker room, but the on-field product is just, I feel like the best case scenario is that he's not the reason they lost. And the worst case scenario is he is exactly the reason that they lost, or at least one of the major reasons. And that's the case more often than not.
Here's my thought on it, because it is a total institutional failure, top to bottom. We've gone over this. There's no reason to belabor it. It is, a mess of Bill Belichick's doing, both in terms of personnel evaluation, how he's managed the coaching, and the product on the field at this point. When you have control of everything, that means you control everything.
Score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action, NFL. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including you got spreads, you got your player props, you got over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Boston and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
This is what you knew, right? When you had a person like Mac, the book was cerebral, it anticipates, gets through his progressions quickly. Those were the things that made you I hate saying the Tom Brady comparisons, but the reason you believed that they would be okay. But you knew reduced arm strength, hold on, I'm being handed a coffee. That's so nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, thank you.
Oh.
Thank you to my lovely wife. You knew arm strength was an issue. And the other thing that was an issue was he tends to get down on himself, he has a tough time rebounding from losses. And that didn't jive with the whole good mental makeup sort of aspect of him being a cerebral quarterback, because those two things seem to be at odds up here, like he's supposed to be able to see things quickly and get through stuff, but he's having a tough time bouncing back. Now you've thrown on top of it, seeing ghosts / having lost faith in some of what's going on around him, both in terms of the personnel and the coaching and the situation he was put in. You've got a problem right now, because whether he's in his own head or his head is just who he is, he's not able to play quarterback at even a replacement level on this team. Taylor, and that's where I want to say is you can you can stack up every reason why things are going bad for the Patriots and be able to say, okay, you're right. All of that stuff is bad. But there are a lot of quarterbacks in this league dealing with bad situations who are performing better on a consistent week-to-week basis than Mac Jones is. And some of them do not have his pedigree, okay? So, like a Dobbs in Arizona, like I'm not saying, like, this is a replacement level guy who's bounced around team to team to team to team, goes in cold and leads a team to victory after like 2 snaps in Minnesota with a couple of available weapons at his disposal. Like, it's all bad here, but a quarterback's got to be able to lift you a little bit and to play through some stuff. Not only is he not lifting you, he's actually hurting you. He's playing at below replacement level right now, and that's what's so bad. Is so, it would be one thing if he was, God, I long for last year's Mac, and that was a regression from year one,
right. And that's the thing where last season, and I think at the beginning of this season, like through at least 2 weeks, the conversation was, okay, Mac isn't playing well, but most people wouldn't play well in this situation where, he got the benefit of the doubt of like, yeah, you're really struggling and you're trying your best. Like, no one's going to act like another quarterback would go in there and really be able to elevate all or rise all ships. But I think the biggest, and obviously I think people understood that he and Matt and Tom Brady physically kind of had similar profiles, but they were very different people. And I think the mental makeup that you bring up is exactly why. So Tom Brady in college had the whole thing where like he got down on himself too. Like if you look deep enough, I know there's some special where they talk to like his psychologist or something from college when he wanted to transfer out of Michigan. And the guy was like, dude, you got to stay here and like fight it out, or else you're just going to basically keep bouncing around from program to program, stick it out and like earn your way here, because Tom was really in his own head. And then from that experience, obviously he becomes Tom Brady, where anytime the Patriots have their back against the wall, anytime things seem tough, you look at him and you're like, this guy is not going to let us fail, because to a legitimately maniacal degree that should be studied by scientists, the man is like allergic to losing. And there is nothing in the world that he seems to fear more than losing football games. So you knew that resiliency was there and he wasn't going to get so in his head that it took him out of the game. Even when he went to the Buccaneers, every week these guys are saying, when you have Tom Brady on the field, you know you have a chance to win the game, which is an incredible relief on a football team where a lot of it is mental. Like you can say that the mentality and, momentum isn't a thing, but players will tell you it's a thing. And that if you have confidence going into the field, that's a huge difference maker. This team doesn't have that confidence. It feels more like the attitude is something's going to go wrong. What's it going to be? Rather than we're going out here, we're going to get it done. Because they have no reason to go onto the field and expect something to go right. Because for the past 2-3 years, it's been the same thing where the defense gives you an opportunity to come back and you can't do it. It's as bad as the defense has been at points. Like, the stat sheet's going to make this defense look a lot better than it was. And sure, they made some plays when they had to, but it was not a good performance. The pass rush was non-existent, and there were a ton of times where Colts had opportunities for big plays they couldn't capitalize on. But even still, you had a chance to come back, and your quarterback was so bad, you had to put in the backup to try to give yourself a shot at winning the game.
The narratives no, you're 100% right. And the only reason I'm jumping in here is not because, the rant had to stop at some point. That wasn't the point. You're on a roll here. I will say that reporting coming out of Germany right now is that Mac Jones was led, with a towel over his head into this is coming from Volin. Mac Jones shirtless under towel just went into the x-ray room. Who knows if injury had anything to do with being lifted there? It would be quite the convenient, wouldn't call it a lie, that he was hurt on the very last play that he made. I didn't see anything that he did there that would have resulted in an injury, but it's possible he did something or something happened to him earlier in the game that they're checking out right now. So we'll see, but he's on his way into the x-ray room right now. So we're not really going to get answers on that. And I doubt we're going to get answers on whether or not he was benched here, but I am waiting. And Amit, our producer here, just keep an eye out for any post-game commentary that kind of explains what's going on with the Mac Jones situation here, because it is bad.